Allow the upper eyelids to roll down. Also, carry on lengthening the spine and broadening across the collarbones. Open the armpit chest forwards. Relax the legs. And take a slightly deeper inhalation than before. Let's chant together. Once more, inhale and lift your chest. Keeping the lift, bow your head down to your heart. Softly drop the palms down. And as you raise your head, open your eyes. Okay, great. Let's extend the legs in front of us and lift ourselves up to Tadasana. We don't need any props for this. We will just stand with the feet. If you have a lumbar spine problem or your period today, you may want to have the feet hip width distance apart. Otherwise, you will have your normal Tadasana, but the outer edges of your feet will be parallel to the edges of your mat. For me, that means the heels are not touching, inner ankles are not touching. So I want to have two parallel outer feet, the two big toes together, the bunions probably together, and then anchor the outer edges as you lift the arches up and as you lift the inner ankles up. Make sure that you're not turning your thighs inwards for this. On the contrary, the two kneecaps have to stay facing the front. So, send the body weight back. Measure whether you have the 2 feet, the outer edges of your feet parallel. So from the little toe to the outer heel, 2 straight lines parallel to the outer edges of your mat. And then grip the outer hips in towards one another. Send the thighs back, pull up the knees, anchor the heels, anchor the outer edges of your feet down. Take your buttocks down and your pubic bone up. So this is what I want us to focus on. The extension of the thighs and the pushing back of the center of your thigh and the lifting of the hip bone will create less of a dimple here in the hip area. So for that action to happen, we really need to push the center buttock forwards and lift the hip bone up and extend the thigh down. Extend the thigh back. The top of your buttock, however, rolls down and is disengaged. So the bit of buttock nearest the waist is not tense. What's tense is that bit of buttock to neutralize the pelvis. Let's do the Tadasana from there. So, send the thighs back. Open the creases of your hips and lift the hip bones up. Take your arms out to the sides and anchor the outer edges of your feet to the floor. Lift the chest. Open across the collarbones. Open across the collarbones. In a moment, I will ask you to lift your arms, but keep that opening across the chest. And of course, keep all the leg work as we have explained so far. Take your hands to either side, turn the palms to face the ceiling, and carry on lengthening the root of your buttocks down and pushing forwards from the center of your buttocks. Take your arms up, but take them so that you can maintain the breath. So it may take a little longer. Anchor the heels once more, weight on the heels, lock your elbows, and then the same action we were doing with the groin needs to happen at the armpit level. Send the top of the arms back and shoot the armpits forwards. Buttocks lengthening down, pubic bone lifting, hip bones lifting. And then bring your arms down. With that extension of the arms, we'll do Namaskarasana. This Namaskarasana, so ending up the pose with the palms like we started, we need to carry on extending the shoulders, and we need to carry on extending the arms. So locking the elbows. If that means that our palms are lifting, and just in order for them to come forwards and to come closer, we need to bring the hands forwards. Do that, but with an open chest. Remember that the armpits want to win the race, okay? Tadasana. Extend the arms, broad across the collarbones. And now, keep the weight back, thighs back, anchoring the outer hips, anchoring the outer heels. And then from here, lift your arms up. Utwa. Arms up without losing that width. Extend the arms and lock the elbows. Extend the legs and lock the knees. The knees are facing the center. Now, can we bring the two hands together without losing the broadness across the collarbones? Can we do the hands together without bending the elbows? Extend your arms. You need to look like a rocket ship. Then bend the elbows and take your hands down to the chest. Namaskarasana. Feel the breath again. Across the shoulders, across the collarbones. Feel also how easy it is to push the shoulder blades into the body from there. Okay. Now we will turn around and we might need some props. Emma, definitely have some props for your hands. We can have a chair or we can have a couple of blocks. If you can easily reach the floor in Uttanasana, you will not need any props. So I'll show you, we'll do exactly the same. Utwa Dhanurasana, Namaskarasana, and then with the hands on the chest, we will lean forwards without closing the chest, yeah? We will lean forwards. If you have your period or a bad back today or a headache, take your hands down to the props immediately. Otherwise, we will stay here a little longer and then release, hands to the chair or hands to the bricks or hands to the floor, and do the full extension of Uttanasana. I will give you all the instructions for this. So pulling up the knees, taking the buttocks up to the sky and probably extending your arms out to the sides. Namaskarasana, come back up. Shall we do this? Okay. So if you want to use props, you might need to face the top end of the mat. The 2 feet are going to now be hip-width distance apart. Open the groins. Remember, open the groins. Take your top buttock top buttock is disengaged, center of the buttock pushing forwards. Now, Tadasana. Open across the chest. Inhale, lift your arms up. Lock your elbows. Without unlocking your elbows, see if you can extend the fingers, place the two palms together. Namaskarasana. Open the chest again. Exhale. Uttanasana halfway through. So Ardha Uttanasana. Torso is parallel to the floor. Anyone that needs, take your hands down now. Otherwise, extend your torso. From the pubic bone to that bit of space where you have your hands. From that center heart area to the chin. And do that action we did again a minute ago. Lift the chin away as if you wanted to reach the wall on the right or the wall in front of you with your double chin. Now, release the hands down. Concave your back. Assess whether the weight is on the heels or in the center of your arches. So, weight is on the arches at the moment. The buttocks are at the same level with your heels. You don't want the buttocks back. Those of us who can carry on going down will take the hands to either side of your feet for Uttanasana full pose. And then extend your torso completely down. Pull up the thighs and the knees. Open the back of the leg. Open the back of the knee. Open the Achilles. Open the creases of your buttocks. See how much more you can take the sides of the body down as if you were being pulled by your armpits. From there, look up. Take your hands to the chest again in Namaskarasana. Inhale and come back up. Let's do this once more, adding Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog. So if we were here and then you released your hands to the blocks or to the chair, keep them there and then step back, okay? Of course, you can do it without any props at all, but we will need a bit of prop after, so I would say have something. I will use, in this case, a couple of bricks. To go down to. You can have bricks or a chair or a foam pad or whatever you have on, or a couple of books even. Or a deck chair if you're in France. Feet hip width distance apart. Lift the knees, lift the thighs, open the groin. Lift your arms. Now, bring your palms together without altering the breath across the collarbones. Namaskarasana. Uttanasana halfway through. So, half Uttanasana, extend your torso. Pubic bone to heart, heart to the chin. Now from there, pull up the thighs, pull up the knees. Release your hands down to the bricks. Still with long arms. Take the right leg back, left leg back, and Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. With the hands on props, you will notice that the heels go down lower. So if you can actually reach the floor with the heels, carry on pressing the heels down. If they are not touching the ground, don't even worry about it. Press down with your hands, extend the armpits away from them. Extend the torso, side body. Extend the legs, open the creases of your buttocks. Now look up. Come back forwards with your left, forwards with your right. Namaskarasana. Inhale and come back up. Tadasana. To this little action, we will add upward facing dog now. So again, let me show you with the chair first, and then we'll do it with the blocks or with no props at all. If you're working with a chair, the same action. So Tadasana, Urdhva Namaskarasana, Uttanasana, and then downward dog. From here, we will all bend the elbows and make that shift, pubic bone from downward dog to the chair with the elbows bent. Roll the shoulders back and down and straighten the arms as well as the legs. If you have a bad back or period, you will come down to your knees from downward dog and then do the asana from here with the knees on the ground and the chest lifted. If you are working without a chair, you will repeat exactly the same, but with your hands on bricks. We will all have something to hold on to because it gives us more elevation for the legs, which is exactly what we want in this pose. So let's start. Have whatever prop you're going to need for your hands, and then roll so the bulkiest bit of buttock is rolling forwards to open that space of the groin. Feet hip width distance apart, Tadasana. Inhale, lift your arms. Namaskarasana, hands together. Open the chest and bring the palms down to the chest. Exhale to move into Uttanasana. Long torso. Long back, long legs, long. Everything is long. And now, release the hands down to the props. Hands are shoulder width apart, yeah? Any problem with the wrists, you can turn your hands out. Alan or Terry, you can turn your hands out. And then back with your left, back with your right. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lengthen and lock both elbows and knees. Legs are extending. Dorsal spine is coming towards the legs. Now, look up at your hands. Press the heels of the hands, and if your palms are flat because you're not catching a chair, press the thumb and index webbing. And now, we're all going to bend the elbows, micro bend the elbows. Without bending your knees, shoot your pubic bone either to the chair or to that space between your two hands. Feet are tucked under. Carry on pushing the creases of your buttocks to the front. Lift the chest, extend the legs, open the back of the knees, and now disengage the top buttock and lift the pubic bone. Lift the chest up, lift the head up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And now we are going to bring your bodies up, back up, and repeat the whole sequence, one leg at a time, Namaskarasana, with a little bit more speed, because we all know what we're doing. So when you're ready, stay in Tadasana, feet hip width distance apart, open the groins, Urdhva Dhanurasana, Namaskarasana, Uttanasana, bend over, release your hands, Adho Mukha Svanasana, back with your right, back with your left. Long arms, long legs, long torso. Now, bend your elbows. Now take your body forwards and then lock your elbows again, rolling the upper arms from the inside out. Those of you who want and can, extend the feet away from you. And those of you who can, Bring the pubic bone more forward. So slide your body forwards more. Lift the chest. Open across the collarbones and lift the head up. Turn the toes back under. Downward dog. Step in with your left, in with the right. Namaskarasana. Up you come. Great. Okay. Shalabhasana. So we will have the chair that I was talking to you about for Shalabhasana. You may need a little bit extra room than usual for this. So it's fine if you need to put the mat oblique, like diagonal, yeah? Let me show you the asana. Again, we will try and bring that indentation at the root of the leg down to the yoga mat. The arms need to be fully extended. So I am extending my whole body in the front of the mat. The feet are not lifting yet. My hands are on top of the seat of the chair. And I will push the chair down with my hands to elevate my body. Pubic bone, so I'll release. Pubic bone is pinching to the floor and center of my buttock going down to the floor, but the top of my buttock has to disengage. Otherwise, there's no mobility in the sacrum and I don't have space in the sacrum to arch back. This is a profound, a deep arch of the back because we have the chair. It's not the same as doing it without the prop, okay? We want to create the mobility. We want to help the body move in that direction, but there is no space to move if we are closing up around the sacrum area, okay? Then, of course, we'll do the legs, and then, of course, we'll do everything together. Okay? Simple as that. Emma, you can take as many breaks as you need, okay? Because this, of course, will bring up some dizziness, etc. Now, put your hands on the chair seat. Try and have the hands on the corners of the chair. Now, lift the abdomen away from the mat. We haven't started yet, but I just want you to roll the abdomen up and away from the mat, and then roll the outer thighs and outer hips down to the mat. We have to vacuum that space between the pubic bone and your, it's not the pubic bone actually, it's the pubic bone, between the pubic bone and the two hips. That space, the inner groin. So the legs are not doing much, but they are extending. Arms are also extending. Don't have your elbows bent. And then lift your head up. Revolve the shoulders away from your ears. And press the legs, press the seat of the chair down to lift yourselves up. Lift yourselves up. Press the chair down. Lengthen your neck. Lengthen your neck. And then release and come back down. Take a few deep breaths in, deep breaths out. We'll do it once more. Hands on the chair. Send the floating ribs at the back to the chair. That will release the shoulders, and that will also send the armpits more forwards. Press the chair down and lift your paraspinal muscles. The muscles at either side of your dorsal spine need to draw your torso up. Open across the collarbones and release. You can rest with your head on top of your hands. I will be on my elbow so that you can still hear what I'm talking about. Now, let's address the legs. You want to have the heels slightly out, just as we started the class actually. Heels slightly out, toes slightly in, and we will draw the legs up from the inner groin, not from the outer hip, not from the waist, from the inner groin, in between the legs. That's what's lifting the legs up. Let's start. Let's do it one at a time. Extend the foot away, whichever foot. Lock the knee, lift the leg slightly, extend it, press the pubic bone and groin down, and take the leg back down. Do the same with the other leg. Extend the toes, lock the knee, lift from the inner groin, send the center buttocks down. Release the leg down. Now the two of them together. So first of all, push the pubic bone to the ground, then push the outer hips to the ground. And now start extending the legs. Draw up the knees and take the inner groins up to the sky, up to the ceiling. Extend the legs and they will lift only as a continuation of pressing the pubic bone and extending the legs so much. And then bring them down. Okay. Let's do it once more with both your arms and your legs together lifting up. So you can have, if you don't want to work with the chair anymore, you can have the arms at either side of your hips, facing the ceiling and already coiling up. Otherwise, you can still use the chair to give you that extra lift in your chest. Inhale. Coil your armpit chest and lift your arms. Extend your legs and start extending the toes, the knees, and then lift from the inner groin. Your pivotal point is the pubic bone. So carry on lifting the legs and the arms without lifting the pubic bone, of course. And then go down. We'll repeat it once more, just for luck. So, revolve the shoulders down, either put the legs on the chair, the hands on the chair, or the hands by your hips, facing up, and then extend the legs away from you. Let's start with the legs. Extend them away, lift them up, lift them from the inner groin, and then push your hands down onto the chair to lift your torso up, or coil those armpit chests forwards and elevate your arms by your hips. Come on, Caroline, we're waiting. I could see you. Don't give up. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing, and then release. Now you can have the two hands on underneath your forehead and rest for a second. All right, let's come into Dhanurasana now. So we're still going to be bellies down on the floor. And we'll work one leg at a time. So my left hand is across my mat. I will bend and flex my right, swing just like a whip here to catch my ankle. If you don't reach the ankle, of course, have a belt. And then from here, we will just worry about lengthening that shin away. And some of us may even be able to lift the elbow of the standing hand off the ground to get a better rotation, a better extension of the chest and the spine. We'll do that on two sides, and then we will try to do that together, both legs. If that's not possible, we'll repeat one leg at a time. So, flex the right foot, bring it up into the buttock, and now cross the left hand across your mat to support you. Take your right hand to that bit of space between the hip and the groin. Press the fingers, press into the fingers. Can you feel how much more room you've got? on the around the spine and the leg. So press that, keep that action of vacuuming the hip, and then swing the right hand like a whip to catch hold of your right ankle. Now start kicking the shin away from you. Kick the shin, and start pressing the left palm onto the floor. See if you can lift the elbow as you kick that shin away and vacuum that outer right hip down onto the floor. Release. And now we will change legs. So cross your right arm, forearm across your mat. Flex the left foot, bring it up to your to its own buttock, and then once more with your hand you try to push that groin down. Press your fingers with that groin, then swing the hand and catch your ankle. With the foot still flexed, kick away with your shin, lift the elbow if you can, kick away with your shin. Keep the broadness across the collarbones. Broadness across the collarbones. Roll the shoulders away from your head. And then release. Take a little break. And then those of us who can will take the two hands to the ankles simultaneously. Otherwise, you can repeat one leg at a time, as we have just done. Whichever version of this will make you work your spine, so don't worry if you don't want to bring the two legs together or if you cannot because you don't reach, etc. So, coil the armpit chest first and lift your head and chest off the ground. Then swing your hands back. The hands are already ready there, ready to catch those ankles. And then kick the ankles to your buttocks and catch. One whole straight motion. Then start kicking your shins away. Kick your shins, lock your elbows, shoulders down. Now, if you can, only if you can, you will lift the thighs up. Lift the head. And release. Let's do it once more. Coil the shoulders, lift the armpit chest. Prepare your hands already by your hips. Now, kick your legs up into your buttock and catch. That's great. Look up. Use your spinal muscles. Take your floating ribs at the back forwards and then start kicking your shins. The legs have to work. Push the pubic bone down to the floor and then lift the thighs. Disengage the top buttock. Inhale to come back down. When you are ready, come back up again. And then we will get ready for Ustrasana or Camel Pose. Anyone with a bad neck, Pascal, I'm just thinking you may be better off doing this against the wall today. So move your yoga mat to the wall and you will be more or less like me. I will show you with the wall. It's actually a door, but it will help. And then I will show you with a chair. If you don't have a wall handy, you can work with a chair. This is what you're going to do if you have a wall behind you. You will, of course, fold up the mat or put a blanket. Also, I'm tucking my toes under and I am keeping my heels and balls of the feet on the wall. Emma, definitely you will also benefit from this one. Sitting on my heels, I will already have my occipital bone on the wall. So, of course, ignore this arm. Imagine that I am still catching my ankles, yeah? I'm holding the door. What I want is to roll my head on the wall as I lift my buttocks up. So the head is never detaching from the wall. So to come down or to come up, my head is just rolling on the wall. That is for those of us who have a wall. If you don't have a wall, but you have a chair, for instance, Alan, you will have the toes tucked under more or less 1 foot away. If, of course, it will depend on the height of the backrest of your chair, yeah? And the length of your shins. But you will start again with the head already supported on the chair seat. Then you can either catch the legs of the chair or catch your own heels and come up. And again, you will still have that support for your head, which oftentimes is the cause of the dizziness, okay? And the cause of people not liking this asana. So measure whether you, also Pascal, if you want to fold the mat because it's the floor is too hard, you can do that or put a second blanket. No, you okay? So we will all have a little bit of support. So if you can, you will tuck your toes under, yeah? If you can, otherwise stay exactly as you are with the balls. Janine, that radiator looks like the best prop there. You can lean on the radiator. And Caroline, you might want to do the same. So your head can be supported by the radiator. Let's start. Those of us with the chair, take your feet more or less 1 foot away and tuck your toes under. Those of you with the wall, place your feet against the wall, place your head against the wall. Those of us with the chair behind us, take your nape or the occipital bone to the chair. Everybody hold your heels. Everybody don't let go of your heels with your hands and lift the buttocks. Lift the chest. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. Head is supported. If you are by the wall, the crown of the head is touching it. If you are being supported, the chair will support the back of the skull. Come back down. Lift your head and look up. Now, one more time. Those of us who can will extend your feet away. And instead of course, instead of catching the heels from the get-go, you will have your hands to support your top buttock, and then we'll find the chair. Those of us with the head against the wall, don't unglue the head from the wall and repeat the same asana with the toes tucked under. So, everybody kneel on the heels. And then if you're working with the chair, have your hands on the hips. If you're working with the wall, tuck your toes under and hold your heels. Inhale. Lift the pubic bone, the navel and the chest. Arch the back and find the chair behind you, or just have that wall, the head against the wall. Those of us with the head supported by the chair, see if you can find the back of the chair or your heels. Lift the pubic bone, lift the hip bones, open the groin, And see if you can catch your heels, Janine. There they are. And now lift the chest more and roll the shoulders down. You're there, Emma. You're there. And now come back to the center. Lift your head and sit back down. Take a few seconds to breathe in and out again. Sometimes people do this pose with the mouth open, and then it's a very light-heading pose. Okay. You will need the chair after all. When you're ready, come back up. I will show you. So, some of us will do Chatuspadasana, some of us Setubandha Sarangasana, some of us Utwa Dhanurasana. Let's pick our own adventure. Why don't we? So, buttocks really near the chair, and then I will have to swing my legs up, catch hold of the legs of the chair, and take your heels really close to the edge. The chair's not going anywhere because I'm still holding it. And this is fine. So number one is fine. We have done this pose in a lot of different variations. If you remember, Utwa Dhanurasana, Dhanurasana, bow pose, we were catching the ankles, holding this pose. Ustrasana, exactly the same, the pose we just done. And now this one. So some of us may be able to stay here. Some other people may be able to lift a little higher and take your hands to the back, shoulder blades, or even below. And some others will have the chance to press the chair really strongly down. Bring your hands to either side underneath your shoulders, fingers facing back, and then coming up to the crown of my head. This is where I usually lose my microphone, so bear with me. Come with the top of your head onto the floor, recruit your shoulders again, lift your buttocks, lift your legs, and come up into Utwa Dhanurasana. And then go down the same way you came in, hands to the back or hands to the chair, and take your buttocks down. Okay? Let's work on this. Whichever stage you want to stay, you are welcome to. Hold the chair to begin with. And now bring your heels to the front edge of the seat. Pressing the hands down, pressing the shoulders down. Lift your buttocks. Lift your chest. Lift everything. You are supposed to be staying on the very tip of your shoulders. Very tip of your shoulders. Lengthen the arms away from you. Roll the thighs in. And now, you've got the choice of staying exactly like that, holding the chair, or you've got the choice of bending the elbows and placing them down along your spine. Even lower. The lower you bring the hands, the more lift you will gain for your chest. From here, those of you who want to try Utwa Dhanurasana, you'll have the two hands underneath your shoulders, fingers facing towards your buttocks. Lift your elbows so that both of them are facing up, and then come up to the crown of your head. Crown of your head. And then recruit your elbows once more and lift up. Lift and lock your elbows. Lift from the buttocks. Lift from the buttocks. And then come back down the same way you came in. And roll all the way down. You can stay there with your 2 legs on the chair seat if you want. Otherwise, extend the legs, moving the chair for a little while. Let's do it once more so that I can see you safely do it. One more time. Catch hold of the chair seat. Oh, the chair legs, I mean. Put your feet up. And then lift the buttocks, lift the chest, lift the creases of your buttocks up to the sky. Pin the shoulders down. From here, those of you bending elbows, catch hold of your waist. Can you take your hands lower? Can you take the hands to the shoulder blades? Terry, if this is too much for the hand, just catch hold of the legs, the chair legs, and that's it. Yeah? Now from there, those of you trying Utwa Dhanurasana, hands under your shoulders, recruit those shoulder blades. Yes, squeeze your elbows in and lift up. Lift from your chest. Press your feet down. Press your feet more down. Lock your elbows more. Lock your elbows and lift. Lock your elbows and lift. And then come back down. Well done. And then slowly, slowly take your whole buttocks down and hug your shins. So you want to be able to rock a little bit from one side to the other. And then with the 2 knees bent, roll them, roll the whole body to the right, but keep your shoulders facing the ceiling. So the 2 legs are rolling to the right. Leave the 2 shoulders on the floor. If the left shoulder comes out of the floor, don't worry too much. We're just releasing the lumbar spine. So send the tailbone down, lift the pubic bone up. And then roll over onto the left. And again, if the right shoulder lifts, don't worry. Just allow the lumbar spine to rest. Soften the abdomen. Lengthen the tailbone down and lift the pubic bone up. Come back to center. Those of us who prefer to work with the calf muscles on the chair, you can take your Shavasana positions with the calf muscles on the chair and the legs up. The rest of us, if you prefer to work with your knees bent, put a little wedge under your tailbone, such as a foam pad or a little blanket, right under your tailbone at the very, very tip. Otherwise, stay with the legs up on the chair. You can put a foam pad underneath the tailbone just at the very, very end. You don't want it covering your waist. You only want it so that it makes a valley for your abdomen. It creates a tilt in the pelvis and it spreads the lumbar spine. Now is the time to release and relax. So if there is any tension in your body, use the breath to soften. Let's start by softening the jaws and the muscles at either side of your neck. Soften also the abdomen and the groin area. Lengthen the chest once more. So from the center of your breastbone out to the sides, you are extending your shoulders, extending your collarbones. Inhale and exhale and relax. Feel the breath. Opening all the pores, and then as you exhale, release, broadening from the center of your waist out to the kidneys. The backward extension of the spine is known as Purva Pratana Sthiti. The preparatory asanas are given for the backward extension of the spine. Apart from flexibility of the spine, one needs the firmness of the spinal muscles. Otherwise, the flexibility will invite weakness and pain, for which students have to pay heavily. These asanas that we have seen today tone the spinal muscles for back arches. And especially the last ones, Camel Pose and Utwa Dhanurasana, they teach the anti-gravitational lift of the spine and the spinal muscles. One should tone the legs and then learn to adjust the spine by making the leg muscles strong. When you're ready, bring the hands to rest where they are comfortable in your bodies. Bring the knees up to the chest as well, one at a time. And roll over onto the right hand side. Then when you're ready, carry on rolling and sit yourselves up, bringing the head up last. Okay. Have your hands on your chest and bow, giving thanks to your bodies and your minds for being healthy enough to allow you to do this session today. And thank the teachers before us who showed us the way so generously. Thank you all very much for joining. Namaste. Okay, I've got an announcement to make. On the 5th of July, I'm going to take a holiday of 4 days. Woo.
5th of July, 5th of August.
Yes, sorry. 5th of August. So the Wednesday session will not happen until the Sunday. However, I am recording some of these sessions and I will put them on Facebook. So in those days that you don't know what to do and you're missing yoga so much, you will still be able to go to the Facebook and click and do some yoga. Also, if you have paid in advance, of course, I will make a note of that. And there are, I think, 4 days that we are missing of the whole yoga session. That is from the 5th of August to the 9th of August. And then on that Monday following, I'm back up and running. I will send an email anyway, and we'll take it from there. Okay?
Are you going to do the early morning on the 3rd, Monday the 3rd?
Yes, yes. Monday the 3rd is happening at 7 a.m. For you, it's going to be the 8 a.m., yeah? For those in the continent. And then I will also, that's the last one because I'm doing 2 studio classes, but those are, so the Yoga Home Pascal, if you have the membership in Yoga Home, the Monday evening classes are happening as well, and the Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Have a lovely day ahead. I'll see you tomorrow or Saturday or whenever.
Bye.
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 Thanks, Rosanna. Bye.
You're welcome.
Oh, you did have a brief look maybe at my grandson on Saturday. I'm not sure if you could see him at all. So I was looking after grandson, so I was doing it separately on the Saturday.
Yeah. How did it go? Could you do yoga?
He was brilliant. He didn't want to join in. He just looked. He was just watching things on my phone. I didn't mind him watching things for an hour.
Okay, are you going to visit them?